There are times in every life when the weight of the world feels unbearable. The burdens pile high: grief, regret, failure, fear, and we find ourselves bowed low under the strain of it all. Some of you listening today are carrying invisible weights. You smile on the outside, but your soul is tired. Your spirit feels worn, frayed, like a rope pulled too tight for too long. And you wonder, will I ever feel light again? Will I ever feel joy again? Let me speak to your heart right now. If your life feels heavy, you are not alone, you are not forgotten, and you are not beyond the reach of God's mighty hand. The Lord sees you. He sees the tears you cry in secret. He hears the thoughts you dare not speak out loud. And He is not far from you. No, friend, He is nearer than you think. The Scriptures tell us He is close to the brokenhearted and saves those crushed in spirit. There's a reason your spirit longs for peace. You were never meant to carry the weight of life on your own. That burden was never meant for your shoulders. It was always meant for His. The cross stands as eternal proof that He took the heaviest load upon Himself. Your guilt, your shame, your sorrow, your loneliness. He bore it all, and now He says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." That's not just a poetic promise, that's a living, breathing truth. Rest is not found in escaping your problems, it's found in entering His presence. Peace isn't found in pretending life doesn't hurt, it's found in laying your pain before the one who can heal it. You don't need to have the right words, you just need a willing heart. You just need to say, "Lord, I'm tired. I can't do this on my own. Help me." And He will. There's a mighty exchange that takes place when you bring your heaviness to God. He gives you joy in place of mourning, strength in place of weakness, hope in place of despair. And the beauty is, you don't have to wait until everything's perfect to experience this. God meets you right where you are, in the mess, in the madness, in the middle of the storm. And when He meets you, He lifts you. There comes a point in every life when the weight of trials, grief, confusion, or regret begins to feel too heavy to carry. Some try to shoulder it alone, thinking they must be strong enough, tough enough, or good enough to handle it. But that was never the plan. The human soul was not created to carry life's burdens alone. Deep within, every heart longs for relief, for someone to step in, for a place to set down the load. And that longing is not weakness. It's an invitation. It's the soul's cry to return to the one who said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." It doesn't matter how long you've been carrying it. Whether it's been weeks or years, the Lord is still saying, "Come." Not with polished words or perfect understanding, but just as you are. When you come honestly, tired, overwhelmed, and out of strength, He meets you with open arms. He does not criticize your weakness, He welcomes it. He doesn't wait for you to be whole before He helps you. In fact, it's in your brokenness that His strength is most clearly seen.
World teaches self-reliance.
It teaches us to put on a strong face, to manage pain in silence, to press on no matter the weight. But that's not how healing begins. Healing starts when you lay it all down, when you say, "I can't carry this anymore." That's not failure, that's surrender. And surrender is not defeat in the hands of God, it's the beginning of victory. Because the moment you place your burdens in His hands, you place them in hands strong enough to hold the universe and gentle enough to wipe away your tears. There is no burden too heavy for Him. Not the weight of grief, not the pain of rejection, not the guilt of the past or the fear of what's ahead. Bore the cross so that you would never have to bear life alone. He took on your greatest burden, your sin, and paid for it in full. And now He stands ready to take on the burdens you still carry, the ones no one sees but Him. When you bring those things to Him, when you kneel in prayer, not knowing what to say but knowing you need help, He doesn't turn away. He draws near. And in His presence, the weight begins to lift. Maybe not all at once, but enough for you to take a breath. Enough for you to feel hope again. Enough for you to realize that with Him you can keep walking, and day by day He strengthens you. Not to carry the burden alone again, but to walk with Him as He carries it with you. It's a beautiful mystery, how the weight of life becomes lighter not because the problems vanish, but because the presence of God fills the space they once crushed. You begin to feel it in the quiet moments, in peace that doesn't make sense, in courage that rises from somewhere deeper than your own resolve. You start to know that you are not alone, and you were never meant to be. This is the invitation, not to pretend life isn't hard, but to know that there is one who walks with you through every hard place, and he doesn't just walk beside you, he carries what you cannot. When life feels too much, remember you are not meant to carry it by yourself. There is strength available, there is grace waiting, there is rest promised, not from this world, but from the one who made it. So take the first step. Lay down your burden, speak honestly to God, tell him what's weighing you down, and watch how his strength becomes your own. You don't have to carry it alone. You never did. In moments when life feels overwhelming and the weight of sorrow presses down heavily on your heart, it can be easy to feel completely alone. The world may seem distant, and even the closest people might not fully understand the depth of your pain. Yet, there is a truth that offers hope beyond what the eyes can see and the ears can hear. God is nearer to the brokenhearted than we often realize. His presence is not some distant, abstract idea, but a reality that touches the very core of our being when we are hurting. When despair grips your mind and thoughts threaten to overwhelm you, know that God does not wait for you to have it all together before he comes near. He meets you right where you are, in your confusion, your fear, and your weakness. He doesn't demand perfection or flawless faith. He simply desires your honest heart. And when you bring your brokenness to him, something remarkable happens. His comforting presence begins to work within you, quieting the storm inside. This nearness is not a fleeting feeling or a temporary escape. It is a steadfast reality. The scriptures tell us that he is close to those who are crushed in spirit, not only to lift them out of their distress, but to stay with them in the midst of it. There is a profound comfort in knowing that you are not walking your darkest path alone. The God of all creation, who holds the universe in his hands, bends down to be close to you. He hears the silent cries of your heart and understands the struggles that seem invisible to everyone else. It is often in the quiet moments of prayer or in the stillness of a restless night that you may sense his presence most clearly. It might come as a gentle whisper of peace that calms your anxious thoughts, or as a deep reassurance that no matter how heavy the burden, he is carrying it with you. This presence does not always remove the pain instantly, but it transforms how you experience it. Suddenly, the weight is not crushing because someone infinitely stronger is sharing it with you. You may have tried to face your challenges alone, only to find that isolation magnifies the pain. But when you invite God's presence into your life, loneliness begins to fade. The assurance that he is near brings a peace that surpasses understanding, a peace that guards your heart and mind against the flood of negativity. This peace is a fortress where your soul can find refuge, even when the outside world remains chaotic. The healing process often begins here, with the simple truth that God is not far off. His presence is the balm that soothes the wounds your heart has endured. It is the light that shines in the darkest valleys, showing you the way forward when the path seems impossible to navigate. With him near, you find strength not only to endure, but to rise above the despair. Even when answers don't come quickly, even when your situation seems unchanged, you can hold on to the promise that God is close. This closeness is a source of unshakable hope, reminding you that your life is not defined by your struggles, but by the one who walks beside you. When you feel broken, he is your healer. When you feel lost, he is your guide. So in your moments of pain and uncertainty, don't withdraw into silence or despair. Reach out, even if only with a whispered prayer, and invite God's presence to fill your heart. He is nearer than you think, ready to bring comfort, strength, and healing. When you embrace this truth, you will discover that even in the heaviest seasons, you are never truly alone. When life presses down hard, it's easy to believe that our pain, failures, and brokenness disqualify us from purpose or hope. The enemy wants you to think that your mistakes define you, that your wounds make you worthless, and that the broken pieces of your life are beyond repair. But nothing could be further from the truth. What the world sees as broken, God sees as a canvas for His power and grace. Your deepest struggles and your most painful experiences do not close the door on your future. They open the door to something greater. There is a profound beauty in how God uses brokenness. He doesn't waste your pain or let it go unnoticed. Instead, He takes the shattered pieces of your life and begins to put them back together in a way that reflects His glory. Your struggles refine you. They teach you compassion, humility, and endurance. They prepare you to carry a message of hope to others who feel lost or broken. In fact, it is often through the cracks in our hearts that the light of God's love shines brightest. You may have felt ashamed or isolated because of your failures, but those failures are not the end of your story. They are part of a process, one that God uses to develop strength and character in you. Sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom for us to finally look up and reach out. And when we do, God meets us there, not with condemnation, but with healing and restoration. His grace covers all our shortcomings and invites us into a new beginning. Your pain has purpose. It is not meaningless. The scars you bear can become a testimony that encourages others. When you share how you overcame despair, fear, or brokenness, your story becomes a beacon of hope. It shows that healing is possible. It shows that God's love is bigger than any mistake or hardship. This kind of testimony has the power to change lives because it comes from authenticity and experience. Remember, God's strength is made perfect in weakness. When you acknowledge your brokenness and allow Him to work in you, He transforms your weakness into a source of strength. You don't have to pretend to be strong or whole. Your willingness to be vulnerable before God is the very thing that unlocks His power in your life. It's in those moments of surrender that healing and purpose begin to flourish. So do not despise your brokenness. Embrace it as the place where God's grace meets you. Let Him take your pain and transform it into a powerful testimony. Know that you are not disqualified by your past or your struggles. Instead, you are chosen for a purpose that only your unique journey can prepare you for. Your brokenness is not your end. It is the beginning of a new chapter filled with hope, healing, and purpose. When life feels unbearably heavy and the road ahead seems uncertain, it's easy to believe that the story of your life is nearing its end, that the hardships you face now will define your future. But this perspective misses a crucial truth. Your present circumstances are not the final chapter of your story. There is a greater narrative being written, one that extends beyond the trials and setbacks you encounter today. Even when everything feels bleak, God is still at work behind the scenes. His hand is moving in ways you cannot yet see or understand. Sometimes, the difficulties you experience are part of a larger plan, one that is shaping your character, strengthening your faith, and preparing you for something greater. Though it may be painful, these seasons serve a purpose. They are not punishments or signs of failure, but opportunities for growth and transformation. Hope is never lost, as long as God is involved in your story. He is the author who never abandons His creation. No matter how many times you stumble or fall, He is there to lift you up and guide you forward. Your setbacks do not erase your value or your calling. Instead, they often make your testimony more powerful and your faith more resilient. When you find yourself overwhelmed by the weight of today, remember that God is writing your story with love and wisdom. He sees beyond the present pain and has a future filled with hope for you. This future includes restoration, joy, and purpose that far outweigh the difficulties you face now. You are not trapped by your circumstances. You are not confined by your mistakes. Your life is still unfolding, and God's plan for you is still in motion. Trust in His timing and His goodness, even when the path is unclear. Hold on to the promise that brighter days are coming, because the one who holds your life in His hands is faithful and true. No matter how heavy the load or dark the night, God's story for you continues. There is hope beyond what you see, strength beyond what you feel, and a future beyond what you imagine. Keep moving forward, knowing that your journey is far from over and that the best is yet to come.